What is up, gang? Welcome back to another Necros Vlogs video, and today we're going to be taking a look at a topic that is very important for anyone who is grieving or coming out of a hard relationship, and it's going to be a tactic that I think a lot of you will find use in if you ever so happen to find yourself in this situation. Now you might be wondering, what is the magic cure to a breakup? By the way, there's like always a bowl over here. I eat a lot of cereal if you guys don't know. And the magic cure is unfortunately time. So that's something we can't really help. But what we can do is we can make that time more enjoyable or not as painful. And one way I've found to do that is to show the hatred they deserve. So people who hurt you, they don't deserve your respect, and they do not deserve any kind of good thing you could ever do that would benefit them in any way. They deserve to suffer, but in their own special way, aka karma. Karma always comes to bite people in the back. What we're going to do today, though, is a tactic that I learned from a bunch of great, awesome resources online, and that is, of course, to list off negative traits with a relationship. We tend to look back with rose-tinted goggles thinking, oh man, this movie theater, we used to always go here all the time. And oh, like this store, we would always go to this store and get all this stuff. Don't do that, because remember that with every good part in life, there's always some kind of bad. I guarantee if you had a relationship, it was not perfect. I guarantee there was a lot of bad in it. So try to channel that bad, and let's put that forth instead of only thinking of the good. Now, me being prepared as always, I have a list here, so we're going to go over the list of things that I didn't like about my ex. Alright, so this is going to be kind of harsh, but of course they should be harsh, but you don't want to insult the person, you just want to tell the truth. If it comes off as insulting, well, the world's not perfect. So the first one is going to be, her feet were gross. So she had this thing where she had like a fungal infection on her foot. And to anyone who's ever had this, I'm not calling you out, of course. Having it isn't really something you can control sometimes, but what you can control is how you deal with it once you have it. She never did anything with it, so her feet were always gross and disgusting, and I didn't want to step even a single foot near her. I'm gonna try not to make too many foot puns, but definitely not something that was very attractive. She had really gross feet, and she didn't do anything about it. That's going to be a common trend through some of these, as you're going to see. Number 2 is she cannot. So I'm actually gonna bleep that, just because I'm not gonna go into detail about that, but just know she's really bad. Number 3 is she's messy as hell. So kind of goes hand in hand again, you know, with personal hygiene. Her exes can also contest to this, because that's what they've told me as well. So the general consensus is she's gross and nasty. She would never pick up or clean. I would have to pretty much do anything. She has 2 cats, and I had to literally clean up pretty much after them most of the time. She would help me sometimes, like she would do dishes and take out the litter box and all that stuff, but really I would most of the time have to kind of like make her do it, and then she would make a big deal out of it because I was trying to have her be an adult. Number 4, she would never take responsibility. So this is a big problem with a lot of young people, is they don't take responsibility and they just blame it on something else, or they throw it onto another thing. So definitely not good. You want to always take responsibility when you need to. That's something that she never really did, never obviously cleaned or did things that were really important. Always kind of pushed it off. Number 5 is lied about a lot of things. So this is kind of something that happened near the end of the relationship. Obviously lying about why she was staying after work, and obviously lying about the whole thing about her leaving. You guys want to see more information on that, check out the video I did. I've already done 2 videos on this, so this will be the 3rd one. But yeah, she would lie about a lot of stuff, never a good thing. Uses her mental illness as an accessory. So this is something she would do. She suffers from BPD, bipolar depression disorder, and I think some like anxiety thing. So she would always, like, when she found out she had BPD, borderline personality disorder, she would use that. Like, she even made like a TikTok the day after, using it in like a stylistic form, like making it seem like it was like a trophy. Kind of cringe, I'm not gonna lie, that's actually really cringe. So obviously uses her mental illness as like something, you know, to be a victim. Victimhood is one of her main things. In fact, if I would throw on another one on here, I would say playing the victim too much. Never talk to me about our problems. So this is something a lot of relationships do suffer from, and usually the demise of most relationships, I'd even say, is people don't really talk anymore. You know, in this day and age with phones and stuff like this, we try to just escape into another world, but really, like, you got to sit down and talk with your partner about these things. Don't hide or keep things from them. We tend to do that as a defense mechanism, but it honestly just does more damage than good. We think that if we hide these things because it can do damage if we tell them, If you're with someone who you truly think you should be with, you should be able to tell them anything and they should be okay with you telling them anything. If not, then that's another problem by itself, but communication is key. Would turn things around on me if I had an issue. Okay, so pretty much it's another defense mechanism where if people feel like they're being attacked, they do the no you Uno card and make it about you instead so that it can pretty much be ignored that they're the ones that are the issue. And it's very annoying. This goes hand in hand with taking responsibility. If you take responsibility, you don't need to deal with this because you know what you've done and what you've done wrong, and you accept that and you go on from that. She wouldn't do that all that often. Would blow up on me over a small argument. So near the end of the relationship, we had a lot of small arguments that definitely weren't all that big of a deal, especially considering the things I've gone through. But of course, everyone deals with arguments differently. However, I think she can even agree that these were not very big arguments, and she ended up making a mountain out of a molehill, and that kind of just escalated things further. She would escalate things to a very harsh degree, and it really would just make things way out of hand, and honestly probably was a big cause to what led to the demise in the end. Blindly steals other people's opinions instead of using her own, especially with political topics. She would never really do any research or really look into anything. She would just look at what her friends were doing on social media and then copy that and then pretty much plaster it on her own personality without giving it much thought, rhyme, or reason. And this is just kind of annoying because it kind of tells me that you were very easily influenced, and she definitely was. Her friends would always kind of say things or do things, and she would just follow suit like a little puppy dog. It's really cringe. I'm going to say that a lot because this chick is just cringe as hell. Definitely not attractive for anyone. You really want to have your own personality and your own thoughts. Talked behind my back to her friends about our issues. This is a big problem a lot of relationships have, guys. Alright, so we're going to set up a situation here. What if I have an issue with someone and then I want to fix this issue, but instead of going to my partner for that issue, I go to my friends and say, oh yeah man, she would never clean, and oh, it was just so annoying, and she's so messy and filthy. I feel better, right? Because I vented. However, the problem isn't fixed because the person who is making the problem doesn't know there's a problem yet because I haven't talked to them about it. I talked to my friends instead. And this is a big issue that I've had in all my relationships. I think every single one of them. People love to talk shit behind your back. If you love someone, you should really not be talking shit about them behind their back. Venting is fine if the issue's already been resolved. For instance, me and this person sat down, we talked, maybe like a week or two passed by, and I talked to my friends. Oh yeah, it's just, yeah, she had this cleaning issue, but we talked and now things are better. That's fine. You can talk about the issues, but don't slander them behind their back without even letting them know what the issue is in the first place. And then the next one kind of goes hand in hand with the last one. Talk smack about me to her friends. So this isn't even just obviously, complaining or venting. This is just straight up insulting. Just talking to your friends when I did nothing wrong, at least to my knowledge, and saying things about like questioning my parenthood and how well I am as a father, insulting me about my YouTube channel, which every chick out there insults me about my YouTube channel. I always thought YouTube was a cool thing. I thought it was something that was nice. I mean, I'm home all the time. I'm not going out partying or like screwing bitches. I figure that's a good thing. That should be a plus. But now that I think about it, maybe I should just be out there screwing bitches then. Just kidding. That's obviously not what I do. I'm always going to be a YouTuber because I just love being on this platform and having this freedom to do anything creatively that I want. Always forgot a purse. This one's a pet peeve, but you know what? Nothing is too small when you're trying to make a list about negatives, because remember, when you think back about the positives, nothing is too small. In fact, it's the little things that kind of get you. Oh, this little coffee shop we used to go to. Who gives a fuck about that coffee shop? But you do, because you went there with her. So the little things, don't skip over that when you're making this list. She would leave her purse everywhere. We would go somewhere, we would go to a store, she'd leave it there, we'd have to drive all the way back. We would get into the car and she would leave the purse in the apartment, so I had to run out and go get it again. So it's like when this happens enough, it's just frustrating. It's like, man, get your memory straight. I know she was on 20 million fucking pills because she's a nutcase, but it's like, try to remember. Was obsessed with getting compliments. This chick was egotistical beyond belief. She thrived off of getting compliments from anyone. She had at least 20 different wigs, and she would buy new wigs every week. That's going to go hand in hand with another thing coming up. But still, just absolutely cringe. Guys, worry about your look. I worry about my look. I use fucking hair thickening tonic. What guy uses this? But you see, I care because I want my hair to be voluminous and, I want it to look a certain way. that's fine. You can care about the way you look, but don't do it specifically to get compliments from other people. She would even tell me when we go to the store, oh, I love when people compliment me. One time we went to the store, she did her hair and everything, and she's like, I didn't really get a compliment this time. It's like, who gives a fuck, man? Who cares how you look? Except for yourself, of course. So it's like, it's really frustrating when people care that much about how they look, when they almost have to thrive off of other people's compliments. It's cringe, get over yourself. And not only that, but look at this chick. Who's she trying to fool, alright? Let's just say makeup did a whole lot for her. Horrible at being responsible with money. This goes hand in hand with being responsible, of course, but she would blow money on things. She would make a decent amount of cash, so good for her. You know, she was a hardworking gal, but of course, she would blow that money on stupid shit like wigs and crap. And she would already have like freaking 10 of them. And by the way, she left like all of those behind. She took like 1 or 2 wigs with her. So what a waste. But she would do that. She would seriously just blow her money on stupid stuff. She would go out, buy people food and stuff. She gives you this illusion that she's a nice person, but all that is love bombing, which is a psychological technique to manipulate people. I'll make a video about that one day. But needless to say, she was very bad with money. I get paid once a month because YouTubers get paid once a month, so I'm really good at my money, because if I'm not, well, I'll be screwed for like weeks, and I don't like that. So I learned to save my money a lot, and well, unfortunately she did not, because, well, she is a child. Too scared to confront situations, especially with the breakup. She called the police on me, alright? I didn't even get to go into this before in the last videos, but I want to do it right now. She called the police and brought 2 neighbors over with a giant dog, and they had a taser. Alright, 2 cops with guns, 2 people with a dog and a taser. Alright, so I know this workout I'm doing is, you know, starting to give me a little bit of muscle, but like, I wouldn't hurt a fly. Now you might think, what did you do, Necros, to constitute this? Did you insult her? Did you threaten her? No, I did not. I did none of that. In fact, I have the messages right here, and all I said was, can we talk? And I might have called like 10 times, but I was hysterical, I was freaking out. Wouldn't say that justifies calling the police, but she did that so she didn't have to talk to me. In fact, when she came in, that's what she told the cops. She said, I called you guys over so he doesn't talk to me. I don't think you can call the cops for people talking to you. Free speech is a thing. But of course she would not know that because she is extraordinarily stupid. She couldn't even pass her math class. She failed it like 5 times in a row. So being afraid is something that was very synonymous with her as a whole. She runs to her little daddy or like someone else to pretty much protect her when she has trouble. She can't do anything by herself, so that's pretty pathetic. And that's going to be something she probably carries with her whole life. Compared to me, who is very independent, I go out of my way to learn things for myself. I don't need help from other people, but if I do get help, I appreciate it. So that's how most people, I think, should be. Wants to be babied all the time. That goes hand in hand with what I just said pretty much, so I'm gonna just glance over this. Yeah, she loves to be pretty much coddled and taken care of by other people, not even remotely independent, and it's pathetic. Requires 25/8 reassurance. She would always come to me and need reassurance. In fact, when we were having this issue where we were arguing and stuff, she told me that she wanted me to get out, so I started packing my stuff. She went in, she's like, you're actually leaving? And I'm like, yeah, you told me to leave. So then she hugs me and starts crying and tells me that she doesn't want me to leave. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to leave. And then she kind of does like what she did like a month later. So like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell if any of this is legit. Like, did she actually care? Was she actually upset? Yes, she did care. Why? Because in that moment, if I would have left, she would have been in a very hard situation. I wasn't leaving on her terms. The way that she left, she planned it all ahead, and she figured it all out, even though she did it very poorly still, even with all that. But still, she did it on her own terms, and that's what she wanted. Which pretty much comes down to, yes, she is extraordinarily selfish and only cares about herself. She started fights over girls I had on Facebook, okay? A lot of you girls out there, and a lot of you boys as well, are very insecure. Man, I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. Get over that crap, okay? People are going to have friends that are girls and friends that are boys. Not everyone's a hoe like Caitlyn, so, you know, use caution when you date someone with a history of hoe-ism, I'm gonna call it. Obviously, I didn't. I even talked to her ex at one point before we dated, and he even warned me. I didn't heed the warning. Definitely do, though, for sure. But I'm not even doing this to be mean. I'm doing this for the healing process. All these things I'm listing are 100% fact. I guarantee that. Would always avoid me and go into the bedroom. So this is a topic that I went over with my cheating video, which I'll put in the top right corner. People who avoid you or do something weird like that, Obviously they're up to no good, and you should definitely get to the bottom of it because it's going to end very badly. Number 21 is would always look over my shoulder to my phone. So I wouldn't really look at who she was messaging. Whenever she would be on her phone, I wouldn't like quickly glance over and look. Although when I was on my phone, she would always be right over my shoulder. So she never trusted me, even though I did nothing to constitute this. I never did anything that made her think I was cheating or like lied to the point to where she thought that I was doing something dirty behind her back. So because of that, that's unfair because she didn't trust me simply because of situations that she had in the past. Don't use your past as a reason or an excuse to do things in the future. If your ex cheated on you and you don't trust your current partner because of that, you are doing a horrible injustice to that person and you did not heal properly, so you should not have gone into that relationship. This is a problem a lot of people have that Caitlyn has. She jumps into a bunch of different relationships and never has time to heal. She has not been single for more than a month since I think ever since she started dating. So she's always going to be miserable, and she's always going to be a whore, and she's always going to be a worthless pile of filth. And I'm honestly okay with that.